Hello and welcome to the NFT Concerts Podcast. My name is Jimmy Dendrinos and I'll be your host. In this episode, I'm going to introduce you to the artist who is the star of NFT Concert number 2, World Void Web. I am extremely pleased to announce that with the release of NFT Concert number 2, the NFT Concerts platform has gone global. This performance, entitled Ecstatic Language Someplace Else, was performed in Bangalore, India. This concert was professionally recorded in a sound studio and features an immersive lighting show and unique visual effects. It's an impromptu psychedelic jam done in a unique Indian style, and I cannot recommend this performance enough. It really is fantastic. Stay tuned for the interview with World Void Web as he shares his unique perspective on music, details on this performance and the accompanying album, and his thoughts on how music and NFTs can help connect us all. Before we get to the interview, I wanted to start this podcast by discussing a few important companies in the music NFT space. I hope by showcasing these companies, I can introduce you to music NFT release strategies currently being explored by musicians. I originally wrote a blog post back in January of this year entitled 5 Music NFT Companies Set to Explode in 2022. Now that it is October and 2023 is rapidly approaching, I think it's a good time to revisit that list, revise it, and give it some up-to-date information. Before we dive into the proper list, I want to give a quick shout out to Mint Songs. Mint Songs was one of the first platforms that let artists turn their songs into NFTs for free using the Polygon blockchain. While it made the original list, unfortunately, this company exploded into bankruptcy. Operating on the Polygon blockchain was rather complex, and for consumers, they needed to have both wrapped Ethereum and Matic to purchase a Mint song. This required use of a Polygon bridge and was often a multi-step, complicated process. Unfortunately, Mint songs did not catch on with consumers. However, this platform did help introduce a large number of artists to the music NFT space. When looking at companies that are still operating, I think a good place to start is Rocky. Spelled R-O-C-K-I, Rocky is a unique music streaming app powered by the Rocky token. Just like Spotify or Apple Music, Rocky pays out artists on a per-stream basis. Rocky has a subscription model that can be paid for in fiat or cryptocurrency. Rocky pays artists at a much higher rate than other streaming platforms. Each song uploaded to the Rocky platform is backed by an NFT to ensure proof of ownership. The Rocky token has some unique utility. Rocky has rolled out staking for artists, essentially using DeFi principles to reward both individual artists and their fans for committing their Rocky tokens. Rocky is built on the Binance Smart Chain, which has very low transaction fees. Rocky is clearly innovating and deploying features from around the cryptocurrency world and adapting them for use with music. I'd expect to see this platform to continue to grow and flourish in the years to come. Next on the list is one of the best known music NFT companies and perhaps one of the best known NFT companies in the world. One of has partnered with A-list artists such as the Notorious B.I.G., Whitney Houston, Alesso, Ziggy Marley to release individualized one-of type drops. Each one-of NFT is a unique NFT project offering its holders unique perks. One of is tapping into an elite tier of businesses, events, and artists and introducing them to NFTs. One of operates on the Tezos blockchain, which has extremely low transaction fees. All one of NFTs are priced exclusively in US dollars, so it's extremely accessible for most fans. For most artists, the one-of platform is completely out of reach. One-of charges high upfront fees to develop these one-of-one NFT releases. And for most artists, especially those without a massive fan base, they will never be able to recuperate their investment. While the one-of platform has proven to be popular with NFT collectors, I believe there are a number of serious issues. For a start, one-of requires that you use a managed wallet. You cannot bring your own wallet to the one-of platform. In addition, if you buy an NFT on one-of for $50 and sell it for $75, you cannot cash out that $75. A quick look at the one-of terms of service reveals that you need a minimum of $100 to cash out your account. In addition, there is a $5 fee to cash out your account. So much for decentralization. Well, I believe these are serious issues with the one-of's platform, and they keep me from collecting one-of NFTs. One-of managed wallets, credit card payments, and US dollar pricing has opened up the door to NFT collecting to the masses. You do not need to be technically skilled to purchase a one-of NFT, and that has proven to be extremely popular. While one-of designs unique NFT releases for each musician, the next company has developed an NFT release strategy they hope to use over and over again. This release strategy is rather unique. They want musicians to sell their music streaming royalties to their fan bases through an NFT release. This company is known as Royal. Royal was founded by the NFT king himself, Justin Blau. Royal's first drop featured Nas and was so popular the site crashed. They rescheduled the drop for the following week, and Nas was able to generate $560,000 in NFT sales for 50% of the royalties generated by the songs Ultra Black and Rare. Royal now gives fans the ability to invest in artists with royalty-bearing NFTs that earn while you own them. This is a unique technology that is set to revolutionize the industry, and Royal is already seeing serious backing from investors. Personally, I see a few major issues with Royal's NFT release strategy. For one, musicians are forced to sacrifice their future revenue for upfront cash. There are alternative NFT release strategies that do not require that sacrifice. Two, artists and fans are now on opposite sides of the table. If a song explodes and gets a ton of plays, well, then the fans win. The artist loses out on all that missed revenue. However, if the song is a flop, then the fans lose. The artist generates additional revenue from those streaming funds, and the fans do not recuperate their investment. I believe that there are much better alternatives available to musicians that can generate revenue today without sacrificing on your future revenue down the road. Additionally, I personally recommend artists to keep and hold 100% of their streaming royalties and music rights. With the rise in Web3 platforms, I think being an independent artist is going to prove to be much more financially viable and profitable in the long term. While there is the argument that giving up streaming royalties to your fans can help turn those fans into promoters for your song, personally, I think there are better release strategies available for both fans and artists. When it comes to turning a song into an NFT, something that Mint Songs was originally focused on, Sound XYZ has really stepped up and filled the gap. There is a real collaborative feel on Sound XYZ, as there are no competing incentives between artists and fans. Fans are encouraged to collect artist songs to support the artist. The platform is set up to highlight early collectors of both individual songs and the artist. In addition, the platform features collector profiles that are generating just as much attention as the artist profiles. people are following big time collectors to see who they are going to purchase next. Sound XYZ's prowess in the music NFT space doesn't just stop with a unique user experience. They have recently rolled out a full suite of smart contract protocols entitled the Sound Protocol. This framework will enable artists to spin up and own their own smart contracts. There is very little to criticize about Sound XYZ other than all the content is public. You do not need to own the song to listen to it on Sound XYZ. Considering this is the NFT Concerts Podcast, it was only going to be a matter of time until I talked about NFT Concerts. NFT Concerts is focused on turning full-length concert recordings and studio sessions into digital collectibles using NFTs. The way we do this is a little bit different from other NFT companies. Rather than make the recordings public, we keep them private. We then issue an NFT of a limited quantity that unlocks access to that concert recording. Only the owners of the NFT concert can unlock and stream the show. Each concert recording is token gated to a single NFT, and each show is its own NFT concert. Token gated content is the simplest form of utility for an NFT. As long as there is demand to watch that concert recording, there will be demand for the NFT. Additionally, access is instantly transferred in the event of an NFT sale. If you ever want to watch that concert recording again, you have to own the NFT. This creates a powerful incentive to hold the NFT concert. This is a brand new distribution strategy that can help artists release their concert recordings while generating additional revenue. NFT Concerts has just opened up to the public as of October 1st. We opened up with just 2 concerts to start. One of those brave artists has agreed to do this podcast with me. I'm extremely pleased to introduce you to Ajit Padmanabh, better known as World Void Web. I hope you enjoy this interview. I'd like to welcome onto the podcast Ajit from World Void Web. He produced the NFT Concert number 2, Ecstatic Language Someplace Else. Welcome, Ajit. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Can I just go back to your roots? Like, how long have you been playing music? Kind of how did you get started?
All right. So, music happened to me when I was in college. When I was around 17, 18, I started on the guitar. And slightly before that, when I was 14 or 15, I started with a keyboard, a small little Casio keyboard, SA2. And, I would just dabble on the tunes and stuff like that. And then I moved into the guitar because it was easy to translate the notes from the keyboard to the guitar. By the way, I'm a self-taught musician. I haven't learned music. So what I usually do is I compose instrumental music. And my journey started in 1998, as I was saying, with the guitar. And then I joined the band in college and, we performed at various tours and stuff. And as I moved on, I joined the corporate life. I was part of the band in the corporate also. So, as a lead guitarist, and we would mostly play heavy metal or classic rock and some fusion pieces, which is focused on India, because I am from India. So, you got to kind of balance both the sides of the world.
Absolutely.
So that's how it happened. And one thing led to the other. I got this composition bug. And, I set up the studio where I'm talking from. It's a home studio. It's a nice little home studio where I compose all the music that you will hear on the, not only on the NFT concert, but the larger album that the concert was a part of,
Wow.
Which we will dig into further. But yeah, that's a little brief about me.
Awesome.
Being an engineer and a musician, so, STEAM, the trend word today, comes naturally to me.
Oh, fantastic. Who are like some of your musical influences? You mentioned like heavy metal, classic rock. I kind of picked up on that when I listened to it. I like thought like Pink Floyd or kind of like that
Awesome.
psychedelic
Awesome.
jam, like yeah. So
Awesome. So yeah, my influences, Metallica,
oh yeah.
Iron Maiden,
Mm-hmm.
Deep Purple, Pink Floyd, of course. And when I was a kid, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Really?
And I think a lot of the music that he created made me learn a lot of these tricks of layering music and layering percussive elements and stuff like that. So, huge influence, Michael Jackson. And apart from that, yeah, Pink Floyd, Metallica, Deep Purple, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Dream Theater. You name the bands, and they have some kind of an influence on you. In India also, we have a lot of these classical musicians that have influenced me from time to time, which I've absorbed. So being in India, it's a benefit of having both, the best of both the West and the East. you know
Very cool.
so yeah, a lot of these influences. Yanni, of course, instrumental music. Who could forget Yanni?
Oh, no.
So yeah, that's
Cool.
it.
And then, how did you get connected to all the musicians that took part in this show?
Oh, that was a fantastic endeavor. Actually, this is part of a larger album called Wider Perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And, a little bit of about the World Wide Web before I jump into the musician side of it. So I go by the moniker of World Wide Web, which is a pun on the internet of today, World Wide Web, right? And I am fascinated by the element of wide. I'm somewhat into philosophy and history and heritage. In fact, I have my own startup on the technology front. It's called Who We Are, and we create virtual reality experiences for heritage sites.
Oh,
So wide, the aspects of philosophy, everything is very close to my heart, since the early days. And I wanted to create something that is, bereft of any caste, religion, creed, sect, or anything like that. So World Wide Web is that neutral name. Nobody knows me as uh, Ajit Padmanabh, but it's more like World Wide Web in the musical circles, right? So it gives a very gender neutral, everything neutral kind of a thing, no biases associated. I released my first album in 2016. It was called Think Void, which was a rhyming phrase with Pink Floyd.
yeah.
Talk about influences.
Yep. Yep.
So after that, with my sound engineer, I kind of built a lot of singles around the newer album, and he was the one who said that we should get these legends on the Someplace Else concert. And by the way, each of those artists that have performed with me, they are legends in their own right in India. They are quite popular young musicians, some of them in the movie industry and some of them in the actual classical music industry, right? So it was a pleasure and an honor to perform with them, to share the stage with them, for somebody who's not learned music, or for somebody who's not into the music industry officially, right? It's still a passion for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful to meet these guys. My sound engineer, Tarun Kumar, that's his name. He reached out to each of these artists and with the concept and stuff like that, and they were happy with the concept, and they were happy that there's something new happening here, so let's give it a try. Purely experimental and wonderfully executed, and I was very, very happy that they were so committed to the cause of Someplace Else.
Kind of, can you talk me through like kind of how long it took from like kind of the start of the idea, working through the album, and then kind of bringing the whole show together? I'm assuming this is not a small project. Like at least it didn't appear that, you know.
You're right, Jimmy. So the entire album, it's got 15 songs. As I said, it's called Wider Perspectives.
Okay.
Um, these songs, because they are instrumental in nature, we start with the song titles, so that the themes are established. And I go by a triptych theme, triptych meaning three sides to a story, right? Not two sides, three sides to a story. And I divide it into world, wide, and web sections. So world talks about the beautiful nature and stuff like that. Wide talks about the philosophical aspects of humankind, and web actually talks about the issues that are pervading us today, right? So three songs each in these sections is what I try to create. Instrumental music, so you kind of get into that mood and stuff like that. So it took me around 3 to 4 years to record the first section of the album, including the production and stuff like that. And at the same time, because it's instrumental music and I am driven a lot by art, visual art, I commissioned Hugh Syme to do the album cover. Hugh Syme is somebody who's done album covers for bands like Iron Maiden, and a regular album cover artist on Dream Theater, as in he creates those visual album covers. So I reached out to him. It's been a dream of mine to have international collaborations. So he did a wonderful job on the album cover. It took us maybe around 6 to 8 months to freeze that, and that's when COVID struck. And I was home locked, and I thought, okay, let me use this opportunity to create at least some tunes or some kind of raw numbers, right? And that's when most of the album happened, between April and November 2020, in my studio right here. And the next section, which is around 6 songs, that is what I called as Act 2, Someplace Else. And that is the ecstatic language at Someplace Else. Someplace Else is like this fantastical place where things are very, very cool, and things are beyond the 3 dimensions of today, or beyond the technologies of today, right? Where human values are given more importance than the technological aspects of today's life, right? So I had the song titles very much, and my concept for Someplace Else was to experiment with musicians who I have not met in life, and kind of telepathically sync with them in one session and perform in the next. Right. So the actual rehearsal happened one day before the stage performance that we have as the NFT concert, and that was the first time I met all of these guys. We jammed up for around 1 or 2 hours just to sync with our frequencies and telepathy and stuff like that. And we started communicating with each other through music. So one guy would play the lead and he knows when to stop because another person is going to begin the lead, right? Wow. It was a social experiment to look at flow in music, right? And how it happens in a collective scenario. All of us have been musicians. We know when we work with bands, we have this nice little connect with them. I wanted to experiment that without any relationship, without any friendship with these guys, whether it still works. And, the concert, would show you that it absolutely worked. It's a 2-day project in terms of execution. And we had a great video crew. We had a great audio team, led by my sound engineer again, Tarun Kumar. And everybody synced in, and they were so immersed in the actual concept that all of it came out very well. And that is the ecstatic language that I wanted to talk about. It is beyond what you speak from one language to the other. It's the feeling within your heart that connects with the humanity, wider humanity, right?
That's really deep. That's awesome. It was great to hear.
Thank you.
Can I kind of dive into the technical side? Maybe kind of how did you find NFT concerts, and like kind of how did you discover NFTs, or kind of what do your thoughts on mixing music and NFTs?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, as I said, I'm a technologist and I have my own startup. So, and what we are building at Who We Are is a metaverse, right? And NFTs are very close to me. As I said, for the album, I wanted to create a lot of NFTs because the album, when it was created 2019, 2020, 2021, NFTs were just picking up that time. And, for each of the album tracks, I have created a visual song card. It's like a tarot card, with nice visuals from a wonderful Brazilian artist. His name is Bebeto Deros, and he was very kind enough to work on original solid art, mixing the surreal and the real and stuff like that. It's all on my website, worldwideweb.com, and it's on sale. You could buy it as based on your fiat currency, right? So I wanted it to be a very, very visual art centric album, and NFT was, it was natural, right? And I wanted to get beyond the apes, or, get beyond the graphic of the NFTs, and actually look at minting some of these visuals, videos, concerts and stuff like that. And I happened to read about NFT concerts through one of the journals, that I'm regularly subscribed to. And that's when I signed up, and I saw that you released the first concert. And that's when I said, okay, now is the time to get to the second one. Let me write to Jimmy and let me see if, this is something that we could do together. And here we are talking about it. And I'm so, so happy, so honored
Oh, thank you.
to, have my concert as the second one on NFT Concerts. This is, the NFT Concerts platform is one of its kind. A lot of these big techs and biggie sound companies, they've done it on their own, but nothing for the commoners like us who are not as privileged or as connected into the industry. This is a wonderful, wonderful platform, makes it flat, accessible to everybody. And, it is a fantastic platform for any artist who wants to monetize and look at exponential revenue channels.
That's exactly why I built it. I wanted to give artists a toolkit. I was never that talented musically. I've always been in like kind of a support role for music. I worked in audio production, event production. Can help mic your drum kit. But I've loved live music and like to kind of give artists that toolkit, like ability to earn extra money from their live performances and then create NFTs that are like really valuable, that I would want to own because it's like, uh, I would never have had the opportunity to see your concert in person, just
I know.
geographically, our distance. We're across the world from each other, but to be able to unlock it, watch it in the comfort of my own home, and have it for for as long as I held that token. It's very cool, and we've really try and open up your music to the world, open up other artists to the world. Those live shows, it's something really magical about a live performance. And to take that, capture it, and then spread it globally, I think it makes a lot of sense. So I'm very, very glad that you were like willing to jump in and bring I didn't know what I was gonna get when I kind of sent you those emails and to get a performance along that quality, it's professionally recorded. It's a professional sound studio. You got a light show. You got visuals, like the whole 9 yards. It's something that we would have expected to grow to, and to get that as our second show ever has been like a real honor for our platform, the platform as well. So appreciate it. Can I ask, have you ever like played music outside of India, or have you traveled at all with your?
I have traveled. So I was in Australia for 3 to 4 years on work. As I said, I was in the corporate world. I was in the IT sector, information technology, software, right? I mean,
Nice.
anything with India is software, right?
Of course, yeah.
So I was in Australia for 3 to 4 years, and I had a small little performance there with my clients who were also guitarists. So we played classic rock. We just jammed up as a, as an event. But yeah, not seriously performed in the West with Western artists and stuff like that. But I'd love to one day. But
Yeah.
right now, as we are, I think we have to make do with the wonderful technology that we've been blessed with, and looking to connect with, I mean, what are the odds that I would have met Jimmy Dendrinos in my lifetime?
Yep.
If
Yeah.
it was not for, a concert that I created without any agenda in mind that I will be converting this into an NFT. It was a social experiment. I wanted to look at the feelings being communicated from artist to artist, right? And now here we are looking at that as an NFT and as a technological concert platform for the world to see. I mean, this is like it's a classic, upturning the current situation, right? Fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Can I ask what's next for World Void Web?
So next one, right now as we speak, I'm just composing a background score for an audiobook for a wonderful author friend of mine from US.
Really?
Yeah, and he writes nonfiction predominantly on spirituality and history. And he's embarked on a fiction right now, and he lives in the forests. He's another legendary figure. His name is Jim Willis. You could look him up. It's jimwillis.net.
Okay.
So I'm working on the background score for his next audio book, and my music has been utilized for his audiobooks for the last couple of years. We found each other on the net again. My interest in history and his interest in music kind of collided, and he's very, very happy with the kind of music I make. In fact, the concert, part of it was inspired by him,
Really?
the thought process, right?
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
a little bit about the concert for the audience benefit,
Please,
right?
yeah.
So this is a unique sounding concert. It has, conventional instruments like guitars and drums, but it also has traditional instruments of India, like a percussion instrument called tawil, which is a deep drum, and the violins and the flute. So we have mixed Indian classical elements with rock, jazz, and heavy metal, right? And we wanted it to be a very, very psychedelic experience for you guys. So we've had some professional lighting guys help with the lights on the stage, to build up the mood for the music. Because mind you, there are no lyrics in this entire concert. It's just the musicians expressing themselves as to what they felt during the course of the concert, right? So all these lights and the sound, they add to the overall emotions. And I want the audience to kind of consume these NFTs, feel it for themselves that, the world is far, far better than what it's made out to be today. Humanity is connected beyond our logic. Humanity has the potential that even it's not aware that it could change the course of the way the world is working today, right? I mean, Michael Jackson used to say, your mind is, uh, uh, you know, much more capable of doing anything in life than you think it is, right? So he had that thing, that concept, that mind is where things happen. And I believe that this concert is a dig into that aspect, where, if you dive into the concert, if you feel good after the concert, it just means that, there are ways and means to feel balanced and way, way better than what we feel today in the, in the tumultuous world that we all live in.
I read this quote recently that music is the great synchronizer, brings people together. And I think your impromptu concert is like a great, when you don't know what's coming next, but you guys are
Absolutely.
exactly on the same page.
The-
So,
You're right. The only thing I structured the music was with the speed of the concert, with the beats per minute, technically BPM,
hmm
and the scale. We were all on E minor scale. That's it.
that was it.
And rest of
Wow.
it was absolutely in the flow.
Wow, that's
You
incredible. So,
yeah,
I would encourage everybody out there to please go mint this NFT concert number two, Ecstatic Language Someplace Else, excuse me, by World Void Web. It's available right now on NFTconcerts.com for 0.015 ETH, about 20 US dollars. Very affordable. There's going to be only 1,000 copies, so be sure to get one soon. So, thank you
absolutely.
again for doing this podcast, and thank you so much for
Thank you.
submitting this
Thank you
NFT
so much,
concert.
Jimmy.
So appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yep.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good one. All the best.
I hope you enjoyed that interview, and once again, a big thank you to World Void Web for agreeing to do this podcast and for submitting his performance, Ecstatic Language at Someplace Else, to the NFT Concerts platform. As I mentioned in the interview, this performance really is amazing. The music is awesome. The production quality is world class, and it's just a great show. Go mint a copy today. It's available exclusively on NFT Concerts. Before the break, I showcased some of the companies building in the music NFT space. While I only showcased 6 companies, there are countless others currently building. If you know of any unique music NFT projects that I should be aware of or other music NFT companies, feel free to send them my way. My email is info@nftconcerts.com. I'm always looking to partner with others in the music NFT space as the NFT Concerts release strategy is very narrow. It pairs well with other NFT offerings. My recommendation for artists out there is to explore the NFT space. There is a ton of potential here and no need to limit yourself. Do not just do a single drop. Release your songs as NFTs. You can release your concerts as NFTs. But just be careful when selling your royalties as NFTs. Once again, my name is Jimmy Dendrinos, and I'm the founder of NFT Concerts. The whole point of this podcast is to drive your eyeballs back to the NFT Concerts platform. So be sure to go visit www.nftconcerts. To get started, a great thing to do would be to mint NFT Concert number 2, Ecstatic Language Someplace Else. If you run into any issues with the NFT Concerts platform, feel free to reach out. I built the whole platform myself, and it's not perfect, or at least it isn't quite yet. I'd love to get it there, and I'd love your help with any issues you may run into. Please subscribe to this show, and if you'd like to get in touch, my email once again is info@nftconcerts.com. Thank you all for listening, and rock on.